up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you how to try and learn how to read Kuzushiji. So the first thing we need to look at is what sort of things are necessary to be able to read Kuzushiji. Number one, you need to be able to read basic kana. And number two, this is not absolutely necessary, but it'll help. You should have some knowledge of classical Japanese grammar, because you'll find when you try to read Kuzushiji, there's many instances where there's no dakten. So you won't necessarily know the reading for a character unless you have some knowledge of old Japanese grammar. And I'll show you some examples of that. Okay, so before we go any further, I want to show you guys an example of why I think it helps to know some classical Japanese grammar before you start trying to learn Kuzushiji. If you look here in the blue box, which I've highlighted, you've got 4 characters. Shi, nu, he, ku. But the problem is, when you look at the full sentence and you try to translate it, it's going to end up being shinu beku, beku. Beku as in like the modern Japanese beki. Like yoku benkyou subeki desu ne. Yeah, so if you don't know that beku is a part of old Japanese grammar, you're going to look at this and you're going to think, oh, shinu eku. What is shinu eku? You're going to scramble your brains trying to figure that out. And this is only just one example, but I thought it was a good example to show you guys. So, yeah. Okay. Now, assuming that you already know how to read kana, and assuming, hopefully, that you know a little bit about classical Japanese grammar, let's move forward to how exactly we're going to proceed with learning this. Number one, the first thing you need to do is learn how to read Hentaigana. There's a couple of apps you can use to help you learn it for free. It's actually not that difficult to learn. It will take you some time, more time probably than it took you to learn how to read kana, but it's not terribly difficult, nothing to be afraid of. I'll give you the links to the apps below. After you learn how to read Hentaigana, the next thing you have to learn how to do is you should try to read some sentences with some help. And you can use YouTube to help you with that. And once you've done that, you can kind of branch out on your own and start looking at real text and just reading it by yourself. Okay, so let's talk about how are we going to learn Hentaigana. The first way is to use the Hentaigana app. And I'm looking at it right now. All it is essentially is it's going to display a character on the screen. And if you flip it, it'll show you the reading for that character. And if you swipe it, I believe if you swipe it to the left, then that means you're saying you know that character pretty well. If you swipe it to the right, that means you don't know it. You need to practice it more. Ooh. It's really easy to use, and it's very useful to help you learn the Hentaigana, I think. The second thing you could use is the Kula app. Now, one of the big differences between the Hentaigana app and the Kula app is that the Kula app includes kanji and not just Hentaigana. And on top of that, the Kula app also has not just individual characters, but example words. Like you're going to find when you try to read Kuzushiji, when you look at individual characters, And when you see what they look like in actual sentences, it's not exactly the same. So the Kula app can be more useful in some ways because you're going to see examples of what the characters look like in a real context. On top of that, with the Kula app, you can it has a feature where you can take a picture of a character, uh, post it using the app, and some other person can tell you, "Oh, this character is Higashi," or whatever you're looking at. You don't know, obviously. Okay, so you've been using Hentaigana, the Hentaigana app and the Kula app for a few months. Now you're ready to start trying some sentences. But I can tell you from experience, you're probably not going to be able to, even if you know the characters, you're not going to be able to just jump straight into sentences. But uh, one way you can kind of ease yourself into it is there's a YouTube channel. The guy's family name is Saito. I don't know what his first name is. I can't read the character, to be honest. But on his channel, he'll take a text and he'll look at each sentence and he'll show you, okay, this character is this. This character is this. He breaks it down one by one. So it's a good way. You can look at a sentence, make a guess at all of the characters, and then see what the answers are by he'll show you what each character is. That's a good way to give feedback and kind of make the transition from being able to read the characters to being able to read actual sentences. And that jump is very, very difficult in my opinion. So uh, his channel is like a godsend for this. So. Okay, so uh, once you started to get the hang of looking at sentences, you know the characters, you know what they look like in the actual sentences. Maybe you know some old Japanese grammar. Once you have all three of those tools, you're pretty much ready to look at text on your own and learn at your own pace. Uh, if you get to that point, I guess you're beyond me because that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to read text on my own, but it's really, really, really hard. What is fun? So I hope that helps.